What's up guys, Mr. Basie here, and today we're going to be talking about dedicated servers and how I personally feel about them. Now, there's one thing I want to say right off the bat is that this is going to be both positive and negative, mainly towards developers. Now, I'm not going to say anything bad about the games because all the games are generally fantastic, but their promises of dedicated servers are not being fulfilled, and it's very aggravating to me personally, and also I'm sure to many other people who expect to play on crisp dedicated servers, essentially dedicated servers being the closest to LAN that you can possibly get without playing on LAN, and just not receiving it. It's very annoying, and there's a few simple solutions, albeit ones that they're probably not going to do because it will affect some aspects of advertising, but you know, I think in the long run it would be necessary, so, or, you know, at least worth it, quote unquote worth it. So I want to say that, you know, everybody from Call of Duty to Halo to Gears of War, or you know, all those developers have promised dedicated servers, and only the people who made Gears of War, okay, actually fulfilled that promise to an extent. Now, the dedicated servers on that game, I'd like to mention they were on 360, by the way, Xbox 360, a system that was deemed not as capable as the Xbox One for handling dedicated servers, which I don't know how much truth there really is to that, because dedicated servers, you know, essentially it just matters that the servers are up and that the system can connect to them and all that. I'm not sure that the hardware of a component can essentially make it more capable, but you know, what do I know in that area? So anyway, you know, they achieved this on Xbox 360. Now, the dedicated servers were only up about 15% of the time, most likely. The first week of the game, they were up, and then, you know, sporadically throughout the game's release, they would just, you know, turn on, and I suppose they would let the people know that they were on, but, you know, essentially, it wasn't always on, is my point. The first week that I played it, it was fantastic. Now, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Gears of War as well. Not as much as Halo, but Gears of War is a really fun game to play. But it is, you know, lesser on the popularity scale than something like Call of Duty or Halo, specifically Call of Duty. And it's just funny to me that these people, of all people, and I'm not saying anything bad about them, these people of all people that have the least popularity, arguably, are able to achieve dedicated servers to an extent, and I think they really did try to keep them up. I think there was a problem with funds and all that stuff to keep them running, but you know, that's just my theory on the matter. But I do think that they really tried as best as they could to keep them up, to make the game as enjoyable as possible, and I think that's really respectable that these people, the smallest, you know, probably the least earning developer out there, because again, their game is not as popular as the other ones, were able to achieve this level of connectivity, and I think that's really impressive. And I also think that speaks volumes to the other developers out there that have not followed through with their statements and quote-unquote promises of dedicated servers. I mean, we've seen the developers of Halo and Call of Duty promise this, and we have yet to see it. Specifically, Call of Duty has promised it multiple times. We have yet to see that if in Halo 5 it really will be dedicated servers. I'm hoping it will be, because I'm telling you guys, if you haven't played on a dedicated server before, it is the crispest, most amazing feeling thing you'll ever feel when it comes to video games. I mean, the shot registration is always on point. There's never a discrepancy as to, you know, your shots being absorbed or as to someone eating bullets. If you miss, you miss. There's no, you know, there's nothing, you know, weird about it. The game is playing the way it should be. The movement is really smooth, and I think for a game like Gears of War, that really needed that, because the Gears of War can tend to be a little bit clunky if it doesn't have the right kind of connection and all that stuff. But when it comes to Halo and Call of Duty, these games are really going to benefit from dedicated servers. I mean, we're talking, you imagine a world where you never get bloodshots when you get a sniper headshot, or imagine a world where, you know, you're always getting, you know, everybody feels like the host on, and you know, some people might think that's bad, but when everybody feels like the host, it just feels like a really nice, enjoyable experience. All the shots are connecting. There's nothing like, oh, he's host, or you know, you're host, or we lost because you have host, or something like that. There's none of those excuses, because everybody's essentially on the same playing field. No one person is host. It's all dedicated. You know, that's the whole idea of dedicated servers, is no one person is host. So everyone, you know, essentially playing on the same playing field in terms of connection. So that's what I'm talking about. These are all aspects that are going to vastly improve the game in terms of the multiplayer experience. It's going to feel nicer when you're moving around, jumping, moving. It's going to be much more crisp. It's going to be more fluid. It's going to feel really great. Now, I think that potentially this can affect and you know, improve Call of Duty better, or a little bit more, because of the fact that, you know, it takes so few bullets to kill in that game that just a few rounds, like maybe 1 or 2 rounds, because it takes like 3 or 4 maybe, 1 or 2 rounds can be the deciding factor of life or death or win or loss of a match when it comes to Call of Duty. So it's very crucial that the connection is good, because when it comes to that kind of speed and that low of a kill time, and we're talking about a fraction of a second, and it's over. You know what I mean? It really can't be up to connection. It really has to be more of, okay, I really got outgunned, or I really did outgun that person, or I outplayed them, I outskilled them, outsmarted them, whatever it is. Now I outconnectioned them, okay? So that's the whole point of it. When it's that fast-paced, it's really going to benefit people having, being all on the same playing field and being really, really, even with their connection. So with Halo, of course, it's going to benefit greatly. Don't get me wrong, but there's a greater potential that it will affect Call of Duty in a bigger way than it will Halo, but it will make everything. Any game that has dedicated servers that is a multiplayer game is going to feel unbelievable. So I hope that you, feel the same way with this about me. Now, of course, I can't say this for sure, because some people out there will not benefit from dedicated servers because I guess they have quote-unquote worse connection than other people. The way that the system works with hosting is that it picks a middle ground host, someone that's pretty much got, very average connection, so that both the people that have better connection and worse connection are able to connect. Preferably, it works more in favor of the person who's got less connection, so it's a bit more fair, but at the same time, it's not really, it's flip-flopped, it really is. I think most people have very average connection. There's very few people out there that have really, really bad connection, and even though I hate to say it, but the vast majority probably tips on the scale of about, 85 to 90% of the people. That's a lot of people that would benefit from dedicated servers, and I think even people that didn't have good connection would still benefit from dedicated servers, just not as much as people who have average or really good connection, essentially. So that's my whole take on this, guys. Let me know if you agree down in the comments below. If you have any other opinions or disagreements, or maybe something to add to this topic, I'd really love to hear it. Like the video if you joined. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you want to become a Sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been Mr. Basie, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.